Mainoo's at the wheel. Tell me how good does it feel? We've got Garnacho who leaves them for dead. Marcus Rashford is Mike born and bred. We're the greatest of English football. We won it all. 2020 Mainoo's at the wheel. My God, what a game. What a moment for Kobbie Mainoo to win us the game like that in added time. I'll tell you what. Only United right now can make a win like that feel like winning the Champions League final. Because we're so shit right now that we can take a 3-1 lead with a great performance, roll it in some horse shit, and let Wolves get to 3-3 in injury time. But that shit performance, the shit coaching that many people have been talking about this season, the Glazers mismanaging the club, the players disrespecting the badge, none of that matters because it all contributed to this kid becoming a man today. Take a bow, son. Take a bow. Whoa. I'm fired up after that goal today, man. This kid is going places, and I'm so glad he's a Red Devil. There's so much to talk about from that game, so let's get straight into it right after a word from our sponsor for today's video. Are you an artist, a creative, or even an athlete? Do you find yourself being stuck in a dead-end job that you hate and you can't find enough time to follow your passion because of financial or societal commitments? Well, I have some words of encouragement for you. Nobody understands the value of your talent better than you do. And a few $100 or $1,000 shouldn't be stopping you from following your passion full time. And that's where today's sponsor, Post.Market, comes into the picture. Post.Market's mission is to provide creators like you the support they need to do their best work. And you might be thinking, I'm not that talented, or even I'm not that creative. So why would anybody be interested in sponsoring me or my content? Well, I've linked below the oldest video that's available on my channel below. I encourage you to go watch it because you'll see how poorly it's produced relative to the content I create today. And heck, it's not even a tactical analysis video. But despite how poor I think it is now, or how poor some people thought it was back then, the video still got overwhelmingly positive comments. So people were clearly enjoying what I put out. So at that time, if I had thought to myself, I'm not that talented or I'm not that creative, I would have stopped posting content on this channel and we wouldn't be having this conversation now. So the message from Post.Market is clear. Do not let anything come between you and your passion, and the first step to following your passion fully is to visit Post.Market by clicking the link in the video description and creating your very own page for sponsorships. Once again, that's Post.Market to find your next sponsor. Now we cannot start this video at any other point than the last minute winner from Mainoo because it's hard to describe that goal with just words. We start with Bruno collecting the ball on the left side here, and you can see Mainoo's in his normal midfield position a little bit deeper over here. As we play it along, Bruno gets pressed by two Wolves players here, and he squeezes the ball out to Mainoo, who now has stepped up a little bit to help United keep the ball. And I want you guys to notice the positioning of Omari Forson here, because he's going to be instrumental throughout this clip. So once Mainoo fires the ball into Forson, he kills it with his first touch and tries to keep the ball by dribbling away from the goal, but he too gets pressed by these two Wolves players right here, so he has to lay the ball off to Mainoo, who's naturally just in front of him, right there. He gets pressed, so he plays it off to Mainoo right here. Now, as soon as Mainoo receives the ball, pay attention to the two touches that he makes here, because that makes all the difference. The first touch, which he's kind of already taken, is to control the ball, and the second one is to get the ball away from the defender that was just approaching him. And that move automatically draws this second defender away from his position in the back line here, in the back five, towards Mainoo into this position here. Now, I want to add some context here. It is the 97th minute of the game, with 2 minutes of added time remaining. Wolves had just equalized and gotten the last two goals in this game, so it's totally possible for them to go and get the winner. So you can understand the eagerness of these two players right here to rush onto Mainoo to try to win the ball back. It's an 18-year-old academy graduate. In the last few minutes of the game, why can't they win the ball back from him? But amongst all of that chaos in this context, Mainoo does something sick and twisted as he nutmegs this defender like he doesn't exist and causes immediate panic to set into the entire Wolves backline. Now let me explain a few things here, because Semedo and Lamina are worried about this space and behind those two where Mainoo can potentially get into and go straight through on goal. So they're panicking and trying to close this space down. Then Omari Forson, who, like I said, is instrumental throughout this play, is making this run into this space over here. So Craig Dawson on the other side knows that Lamina doesn't know where Forson is, so Dawson has to come across and cover this space over here. So naturally, the tendency of all three midfielders is to cover this space, which is kind of going in this direction over here towards the left. So that means the space that is going to open up in the next few seconds is going to be on the right side over here. So whoever has the ball, if they continue dribbling towards this direction, they're likely to get into space. And Kobbie Mainoo knows exactly what's happening because he uses one more body feint to move the ball further towards his right, and Dawson, who is still moving towards the left-hand side to cover Forson, and Mainoo uses Dawson as the cover to curl this ball past Jose Sa into the bottom corner. I mean, this goal is difficult enough for a senior winger or a senior striker to score, but for an 18-year-old midfielder playing his first season in the first team to score this goal is unheard of. If Kevin De Bruyne scores this goal, we're all going crazy and declaring it the goal of the season. And I think this should definitely be a candidate considering the difficulty, the moment that he scored it in, and frankly, the player that did it. He's 18 for fuck's sake. Now let's watch this goal from another angle here because we can't appreciate it enough from just one angle. So Mainoo receives the ball here from Bruno and he fires it into Omari Forson, like we said, who manages to kill the ball and tries to dribble it away from the goal. And he doesn't have anywhere else to go, so he plays it back to Mainoo. Now Mainoo takes those two magical touches, right? The first one right there, and the second one right here as the defender goes in to move away from the defender. And then he waits for the onrushing defender to come towards him, and he nutmegs him right away. And then he dribbles towards the edge of the box where, again, Omari Forson is getting into this dangerous space. So you can understand why Craig Dawson is aware of that danger and trying to get towards him. And Semedo and Lamina are worried about Mainoo running into this space over here. So you can understand what Wolves defenders are doing, but to capitalize on what they're doing is the real skill. And that's what Mainoo does by feinting one more time towards his right-hand side to make that space towards the edge of the box, using Dawson as the cover and firing this ball into the bottom corner. You know, the dribbling done by Mainoo on this goal has everything to do with his agility, his balance, and his ability to read the game. He showed that Jude Bellingham, Zinedine Zidane level of instinct on the ball that I've seen very, very few midfielders do before. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's on Jude Bellingham's level or he's another Zidane. All I'm saying is, from what I've seen from him this season, his ceiling seems to be very, very high. I mean, I had genuine questions about how good he is in the final third, and I still do because he has a lot to show us going forward. But every time I raise my expectations for this kid, he goes and performs beyond my expectations and raises them even further. Now, I want to show you guys another clip of Mainoo that really impressed me today, along with going through some of his key stats. So we're in the 12th minute of the first half, and Semedo here is about to take a throw into number 20. As soon as Semedo throws the ball, Mainoo presses that guy, and as he lays it off to Semedo, he starts chasing Semedo. And now I want you guys to pay close attention to Mainoo's movements here. He keeps jockeying towards Semedo in a way that gives Semedo no other option to pass out the ball, right? Because he can try to go between Mainoo's legs to 20 here, or he can go back to the center back here. But presumably Semedo wants to keep the ball or go forward. So Mainoo with his movements is making it very difficult for Semedo, and before you know it, he's able to muscle him off the ball and just take it from him like he doesn't even exist. And then Mainoo tries to take the ball forward, and when Semedo gets back, he just kicks it off him for a United throw-in. Now, most of you watching this may not be impressed by this particular play here, because so what? He just used his body to win the ball back. But let me add some context here. Mainoo is an 18-year-old who has only played 900 minutes of first-team football across 13 games starting this season. Semedo is a 30-year-old right back who has played 30,000 minutes of first-team football across his career, including 3 full seasons at Barcelona while Messi was still there. So for Mainoo to just body Semedo like that on a one-on-one ground duel is very impressive for me, because it shows me something I haven't seen very often from McTominay, Fred, Bruno, Eriksen, or Amrabat. It's basically Casemiro or nobody in this team that does something like that. So if you guys aren't yet impressed with Mainoo, I hope today's game went a big way towards doing that, because he not only scored that goal, but even in midfield he really impressed. And we can see that from some of his statistics too. He had 53 touches, 2 successful dribbles, 1 pass into the final third, so going forward he got involved. He also had 100% tackle success rate with 3 attempted and 3 completed, 1 block, 2 clearances, 2 interceptions, and 6 ball recoveries, along with winning 7 of his 14 duels. So not only did Mainoo score the winning goal today, he did more than enough in midfield to ensure that we won this game. The goal was just a bonus. I can't wait to see how this kid's career shakes out at United, but you guys let me know how high his ceiling is in the comments down below. Now, when we were actually on track to win this game in the first 70 minutes or so, I was going to focus this video on Rasmus Hojlund, because whether you agree or not, he's slowly settling into almost a leadership role in this team. He's tough, he's hardworking, he's unselfish. He never complains about not receiving passes in the final third, even though he's the main striker in the team. And he never complains about not being more involved in the build-up. Like, he has to do a graveyard shift every time he's on the pitch. And even after going through a full 90 minutes against 4th-tier Newport County without any bloody service from his wingers, he was still fighting to win the ball in the box in the 94th minute or something so he could score his goal. Isn't that the type of leader we're looking for in this team? Isn't that the type of character that we want more of in our team, rather than Rashford, who's just getting pissed on a Thursday before an FA Cup game? I mean, he doesn't really have to be wearing the armband to be a leader in this team. And at least to me, we're really, really lucky to have a kid with this level of attitude and this level of talent in our team. Now let's take a look at Hojlund's involvement in that first goal, because I think he showed our wingers again how valuable it is to pass the freaking ball in the final third. We start here with Dalot playing the ball to Garnacho from the midfield in this area, and he comes over for the overlapping run, which pulls Doherty away from Garnacho and kind of gives him some space over here. Now, as we play along, Garnacho doesn't end up having a lot of space, so he has to play it out to Dalot on the right-hand side over here. And as Dalot receives it, he decides to cut inside to find some space over here, and he ends up playing a really nice ball through 3 Wolves defenders that you can see right here towards Bruno in the middle. Now what happens from here is the magic of Bruno Fernandes in a way, but also the unselfishness of Hojlund, because the ball goes in from Dalot and Bruno does a really nice dummy to pull Dawson away from the middle, and that creates a lot of space for Hojlund in the center right here. And Hojlund has the ball, which he has reasonably good balance, so he can easily swivel here and take a shot towards goal, as you can see from this position, right? Now, I don't care how much money you want to bet, but Garnacho, Rashford, Antony, and a number of our midfielders will try to take this shot into the bottom corner and have their shot blocked by the defender, or the shot goes wide, or the shot gets saved by the goalkeeper. But Hojlund decides to take a beat, and instead of shooting, he lays it off to Rashford, who scores with a first-time shot into the top corner. Like, that's literally how easy it is to pass the damn ball and have something good happen for your team. You don't have to score the goal to make a positive contribution. You can pass and the team scores a goal and the momentum changes towards your team. Maybe you get the next goal. I want Rashford, Garnacho, and Antony to be locked into a room and be forced to watch that video of Hojlund passing the ball in that situation instead of shooting, till they all learn to make a pass to a teammate that's in a better position. Let me know in the comments if you agree. Now, in this last clip, we'll see Hojlund's hunger come through on the pitch. We start with Garnacho getting the ball in behind Totti Gomez here. And as we play along, Garnacho gets the ball and sort of cuts inside once he receives it, where you can see Hojlund waiting for the ball in the middle right here. Garnacho tries to dribble on the inside and he fires it into Bruno, who's in the middle, and he'll appear on your screen right there. And as Bruno receives the ball, he has a decision to make, right? Because this defender has stepped out of position, so technically there's this pocket of space that's opened up for Hojlund to make that diagonal run into. Obviously, Bruno, with his level of vision, knows exactly what's going on, so he takes a touch, and then he tries to find Hojlund into that space, but unfortunately he ends up overhitting the pass towards this Wolves defender. And so the defender naturally tries to play it back to the goalkeeper, but Hojlund, smelling blood, recognizes this pass is kind of underhit, keeps his run going, which leads to Jose Sa panicking and just kicking the ball against Hojlund, which almost goes into the back of the net. It just narrowly misses the post. And this right here is what I want to see from our forwards. This hunger, desire, and passion to keep going, to keep trying, to never give up till the ref blows the whistle. We have a really, really strong core of young players now, including Hojlund, Garnacho, Mainoo, and potentially Diallo. And I honestly can't wait to see how these guys can develop into the core of our team over the coming years. Let me know what you guys think. Now, in closing thoughts, that game was a real emotional roller coaster. We looked really good in the first half. We were back to playing our 3-3-1-3 formation with Casemiro dropping into the back line, Mainoo playing next to the fullbacks in defensive midfield, and Bruno playing in that free role again behind the front three. And we were moving the ball really well in possession, and we got in behind Wolves several times. And because Wolves were trying to attack us as well, we got to play that transitional game that Ten Hag has been talking about since last summer. But despite us playing our strongest team, I felt like Wolves found it very easy to dribble through the center of our team and basically do whatever they wanted. I'm serious. Go rewatch that first half again and see how many times Matheus Cunha and Pedro Neto dropped into midfield from the wide positions and dribbled straight through our team. If Wolves only had a decent center forward other than Bellegarde and slightly better midfielders, I feel like they're scoring 2 or 3 goals easily in that first half. That game actually reminded me a lot of the 2-1 win against Chelsea in early December, because in that game we played really well, we created a lot of chances, and we only scored 2 goals because we didn't take our chances. And we played against a Chelsea that got a lot of chances against us because of the transitional game that we played. Because they played poorly, they only managed to score 1 goal. Now, Wolves today were better than Chelsea. That's why they managed to score 3 goals and almost got a draw, if not a win, against us. What I understand from this game, the game against Chelsea, from this entire season, is that if we play the same way that we did today against any top 10 Premier League opposition on any other day, we're going to lose that game. I actually don't know how much longer Ten Hag can go on like this, because I remember Ole Gunnar Solskjaer winning games like these the season before he got the sack, where we would go into games expecting to be spanked and come out with a result, or we'd start games poorly against teams we should be beating and somehow come away with a 1-0 win due to individual brilliance or something like that. We're seeing some of those similarities between Ten Hag and Ole. Look at how that ended for Ole. Maybe it'll be the same for Ten Hag and Ineos decides to do their rebuild with another manager. I guess only time will tell. Get in the comments below with your thoughts about Mainoo, Hojlund, and do you think Ten Hag's going to get sacked this season? Do you want him to get sacked? Let me know. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy, and I'll see you next time.